I went through a pretty rough divorce, and my oldest was 6 at the time, and and because the divorce was um, unexpected, um, I found myself projecting my happiness onto my 6-year-old. So every time I would have him, and I would have him quite a bit, it was, let's go buy a new Lego, let's go out to dinner, let's go to the movies, anything that would make him happy would make me happy. So I found myself projecting onto him quite a bit to try and find my happiness there. Um, and during that time, what I recognized is that I can't I can't rely on external forces to be the source of my happiness. So so I went through a period there where I really had to recognize what are my personal needs for my own personal happiness. What am I not getting here? Right? Where are my gaps? Where's the hole that I'm trying to fill? And so I came to this recognition that if I couldn't sit in a room with nothing and be happy, then I needed to dig deeper. I needed to figure out why, right? And so I do that exercise. I do that exercise not as often as I did about 6 years ago, 5 years ago, but I still do it pretty regularly. And it's constantly looking for the gaps, right? Constantly looking for what do I need and what do I expect out of myself. And it helps me with my goals. It helps me with my professional goals. It helps me with my personal goals. It helps me identify, where there's some darkness. It also helps me to identify where there's some light. Because I think that, there's in the spiritual forums and the self help and the personal growth realms. There's a lot of emphasis on what they call shadow work, right? And that's digging deep down into your traumas and your hurts, and we could go on for hours on the traumas and hurts and things like that most people bury that stuff down, and they really need to do the hard work and get down in there and figure out, like, why do I present in certain ways, and what trauma have I maybe not dealt with in my life that I need to really address. But and it a lot of it gets talked about as shadow work. Well, that's a lot of deep, dark, heavy stuff. And I think it's really important, and what doesn't get talked about enough is, as you're doing shadow work, you also have to do light work, right? So as you're digging down and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you, and I'm using air quotations here, and I know that doesn't come through on radio, but as you're digging down and trying to figure out, like, why, as you're working on these types of traumas and these types of shadows, you also have to recognize what's really good about you, right? You have to be intentional about finding the things that you really like about yourself, and how those manifest and present in your day to day life as well. And for me personally, I've always been very confident, but I've also struggled with um, accepting the good parts of myself, without coming across as arrogant. Right now, I'm really confident in myself, and I embrace those good parts of myself, and I know what I bring to the table, and I try and bring it with a humility as opposed to an arrogance. But for years of my life, I would have downplayed it, thinking that I was presenting as arrogant. So yeah, kind of went off on a little tangent there, but
Well, that was amazing. I think that I mean, I took a lot from that